and you're watching my show.
3, 2, 1, ready, go!
I tried to feed a dog a slice of apple today and he was not into it. His owner said normally he's totally down with apples. So I was very confused. He sat there watching me eat my salad for 10 minutes and I was like, you want a little bit of apple? And he did this. There was no dressing. I think he just didn't want my apple. He didn't trust an apple coming from me, which means he hates me. Okay, so a lot of you are expecting me to talk about YouTube Red, I'm sure. I don't plan on it. I want us to get a bit more information about how YouTube Red works before we start having a big journalistic dialogue about it. So yeah, I'm just not... Look, we're not going to really talk about it. For those of you who haven't heard of it, it is YouTube trying to figure out how to do kind of a subscription program, almost like Twitch Turbo. So yeah, a lot of the details are really muddy about that, so I don't think that we can really delve into it very well, so I'm just not going to. Something we will talk about, though, is Zero, the Smash Wii U player, has finally been defeated by Nairo. Oh my goodness. 53 tournaments in a row he had won. He had a bounty on his head for someone to defeat him and take the throne, and it finally happened. Now again, for those of you who don't know me very well, I do not play Smash. I don't enjoy playing Smash, but I enjoy watching Smash, right? So I had seen Zero many a time, and I was like, man, that guy, he just always seems to win. And it seemed as though you would think he would be upset losing, right? But there was almost a sense of relief. Oh, thank God. Finally I can relax and stop worrying about this win streak, right? And he handled it really well. On Twitter he was like, you know what? I gave it my best. I did as well as I could, and that wasn't enough this time, and congratulations. That's awesome. And Nairo was just so happy. He was jumping. It was fantastic. So yeah, you should go and watch that game because they're both such incredible Smash players. And somebody has finally dethroned Zero. So is Nairo the new king, or will it be a while before we see a reigning champion over a sequence of over 50 games? I literally can't imagine being so good at one game that no one could defeat me. As a person who is enjoys a lot of games but is fairly mediocre at all of them, what is it like to just be incredible at one game? That must be such a different life. It's kind of like in Hunter x Hunter, right? I'm not that Nen type. I'm not the Nen type that is built for big time tournament play. I'm the Nen type that is built for cuddling with cats on the couch, which I don't know which one that would be. Specialist. I'm a specialist. I'm a couch and cat specialist. Moving on to more Konami and Kojima talk, which just gets better and better and better. Because, I think Konami is really the cause of so much misinformation, right? They're in this kind of old school scope where they're like, no, if we just continue to say the same thing over and over again, we will create reality, right? If we just keep saying over and over and over again that we didn't fire Kojima, he's just on vacation, everybody eventually will believe us. So yes, the situation right now is that Kojima and his team are on vacation. They had a going away party for their vacation. Who even knows what the truth is anymore? A lot of people are saying, no, we were at a going away party because he was leaving the company. And Konami is saying, no, what? That's ludicrous. Look at our employee list. He's on there. We didn't fire him. So they're claiming that he and his entire team are just on vacation, which I'm going to suspect is a 6-month vacation while they're waiting to be able to work on games again that are not with Konami, right? Part of it, I would assume, is because they have firer's remorse. I was talking about it with Adam Sessler on Daily Bite, actually. Like, just this idea of a game coming out that does so well that you're like, oh no, we fired that guy. Oh no, what do we do? 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 But I think best case scenario is that he takes his vacation with his team, that they all chill, hang out for however long they need to before they can swap companies, and then somebody awesome grabs them and lets them just do their cool stuff, right? Look, Kojima, we like your cool stuff. Do some of your cool stuff. I'd like it if he went to another company and then started working on a game called Soylent Grills. Soylent Grills, the game. It has been confirmed by both Destructoid and Reddit and many other sources that Harmonix employees are going on Amazon and purposefully posting very favorable reviews of Rock Band 4. This, of course, is being seen as a gross conflict of interest, whether or not there's any legality involved. I mean, I don't think that there's anything illegal that they're doing. Shady? Like, kind of ethically shady? Maybe, yeah. Some people are trying to claim, oh, we just posted those reviews as a joke. But in response to people obviously figuring out that, like, even their lead designer is posting a review for the game, they've now all been told to go in and edit their reviews and make it very obvious that they are Harmonix employees. Another thing that I think is important to note is they didn't make dummy accounts, right? If you look at the name on the review, it is their real name. They're not trying to hide behind some kind of an alias and be like, oh yes, I bought this game and it's really good, right? It's them as them posting reviews of the game. And some of you might be hearing this whole thing and saying, well, I mean, I have some opinions about the company that I work for or the product that we make. Like, they are individuals at this company. Do they not have an opinion? Which, of course they have an opinion, and of course they can share their opinion, but it is important in that situation to make it obvious when you have personal bias. And especially in this situation where both Mad Catz and Harmonix are really riding on this game doing well, it creates a situation where people look at it and go, that's kind of sketchy. Like, you're obviously trying to get people to look at the reviews and say, oh, I guess this game's fantastic, and then buy it because, you know, both companies are relying on this game having a positive feedback. So yes, I don't think that it was malicious. I really, really don't. But it also wasn't very clear who they were and what their association with the game was. Props to them for, you know, hearing us be like, excuse me, and saying, all right, new company policy, we always tell people when we're reviewing something, and we made it. After years of claiming there would never, ever, ever, ever be microtransactions in PayDay 2, what happened? Can you guess? I'll give you a couple seconds. That's right, they put microtransactions in the game. PayDay 2 now essentially has a crate system where you can use for reals dollars to buy crates and get cool stuff in them. Couple big problems though. First big problem, which has been addressed thankfully, was that your ability to get the crates was not something that was obtained through the game. So like, a lot of times the way to keep this going in a way that people are okay with is you can buy it with for reals dollars, or you can have a rare drop, and the rare drop would be like the key to the crate essentially. But in this game, there was no way to get these crates unless you were spending real money, which upset a lot of people. Second big problem, the skins and modifications that you were getting in these crates was possibly for guns that are only found in the DLC, or we're taking guns that you can get in the real game and making them better. So like, they weren't just cosmetic, right? They were actually adding on stats, which means they're basically employing pay to win, which is so messed up. Dave Goldfarb has left the company at this point, but when he was lead designer, he was the one who was like, no, We will never have microtransactions. God, I hope not. No, absolutely not. And he's since left the company, and now they've employed microtransactions. He has specifically stated that he didn't leave because they wanted to employ microtransactions. It wasn't like, we have a difference of opinion and I need to leave. He just wanted to, go do new stuff. But yeah, he definitely went on Twitter and was like, I hear you guys are having some problems with microtransactions, huh? Good thing I'm not there, lol. It just blows my mind that companies still don't get it, right? They still don't understand that microtransactions are really tricky. Like, that extra money I'm sure looks so tasty. Just like, no, they are making it work. Then people buy those. We can totally do that. We can definitely do that. And sometimes they don't entirely grasp the full situation, right? When it's something like TF2, for example, you could say, well, all of the stuff that you can buy is cosmetic or dropped fairly often, and the game itself is free. So it kind of like balances out. PayDay 2 is a game that you pay full price for, then you will also pay $2.50 for every crate. There is a very rare drop chance for you to get a key to get into your crate, and it might even just like not be anything special at all. You might spend $2.50, open up the crate, and be like, oh, it was nothing. It was some lint. Dope. They also just really didn't attempt an apology or a conversation with us, which has harbored a lot of kind of ill will within the community right now. And that's very sad to see. It's always sad when there's a community of people who really, really love a game, and then the company does something that sort of strains it, And I don't think that necessarily putting in microtransactions was what strained it. I think it was the way that they chose to communicate after people were upset, right? Like, people said, oh man, microtransactions, really? Like, oh, and here's all this like kind of messed up stuff about it, and they just didn't say anything. We're like, they'll get over it. That's the subtext, right? That's the subtext that we hear. When you don't respond to us, they're like, they'll get over it, and then they'll accept this is how the game works, and then we'll start making big moolah dollars. Apparently the concept of permadeath is continuing to inspire developers. There is a game on Greenlight right now called One Life, and the concept of it is that you have one life. I know, you're shocked. It's sort of a post-apocalyptic dystopian future shooter game. So kind of along the lines of H1Z1 is how I'm seeing it, at least from the trailer. I don't know how much crafting is involved. They talk in the trailer about you being able to, have a truck that gets cooler and cooler, like a more and more, solid defensive truck that you can drive around. The big sticking point that they're pushing a lot is that when you die, you're done. Like, it's wiped from your Steam, you're not able to play it again, it's going to be $10. So there is the potential that you will spend $10 and then die immediately. Although, they're claiming that you get a lot of control over where you start. So if you're playing with a bunch of friends, you can all make sure that you start in the same place. They're giving you lots of options to be able to play very conservatively. So obviously I have no idea what those options are or what the game style is going to be like once you're actually playing it. But the concept is interesting. I just think a lot of people don't find that idea fun. To view it as more of an experiment, sure. But to look at it and say, oh, that looks like so much fun, I feel like there's a very specific type of person who's going to feel that way. And it's the sort of person who's already very good at this type of game, which I think causes a bit of concern in other players because they say, how soon until this is going to turn into kind of like an elitist shooter nightmare? And that probably sounds super misanthropic, and I get that, but that's kind of where my brain is going, because they're saying that once somebody kills you, you're not actually dead. They get the chance to decide whether they finish you off or help you out or take all of your stuff or take you captive. Like, there are all of these options for what they can do with you. And the developers are like, yeah, we find that sort of like power play really interesting. And that sort of stuff already exists in other survival games like H1Z1, like DayZ. Like, that sort of stuff already happens where people take each other captive and, you know, kill each other and then eat the meat and like all sorts of nonsense. So then to have it be in a game where somebody who isn't really good, I'm doing this because me, like if it was me, I would have to make sure that I was playing this with other people constantly. I would want there to be like a clan situation from the get-go, like 6 of us all playing at once, because otherwise it feels like you're kind of screwed, right? Because the people who are going to be able to play this for a long time are people who are already good at this genre, and then everybody else is just going to get slowly killed off or turned into terrible captives who just hate the game. We'll see how it turns out. Some people are like, well, I would absolutely want this game to be free then, but it's not. They've said that it's going to be $10. So if you're willing to drop $10 and gamble on whether or not you'll live, go for it. I'll probably wind up doing it because playing weird, dumb games like that are my job. Ding. And as a final bit of news, Destiny. Oh my goodness, you guys have to go and read this article on Kotaku about Destiny because it's very long. It's very, very long, but it is fascinating. A lot of people have played Destiny and said, man, it seems like the story is really lacking in this game, right? And as they put out more and more expansions and DLC, people have said, oh, they're starting to work some cool story stuff in. Cool, they're fixing things, right? According to this article, based on like multiple people who have worked at Bungie, who have worked on Destiny, and have to remain anonymous legally, apparently they had like a whole big story, lots of fleshed out characters all planned, and then they presented it, and they were told that it wasn't good, that it was too cliche, that it was too cheesy, that they needed to just like completely redo it. So an year before it was released, they completely scrapped the whole thing and started over. There's so much more information on there about it, about money problems that they've had, about the way that they've been, you know, doing the DLC and the expansions. Like, it's so fascinating. You have to read it. Please, please, please go read it. I will link in the description. I just think that the gaming industry in general and how it operates is fascinating, especially since we've started to have so much more crowdsourcing going on, right? And like crowdfunding. Like, it's been so interesting to see all of these people who have been told for years nobody's gonna buy your game go to us and say, hey, will you help us out? And then we'll help them out, right? And then you have situations like this Destiny thing where it seems like people who were in a higher position of power looked at what they were making and said, no, this isn't going to be good, you need to start over. And they didn't have a choice, really, right? Like, they had to. And it wound up being kind of a shot in the foot. And I don't know, all of that, so fascinating. So yeah, definitely check that out. It'll be a good read. It'll be a good read for you, I promise. Anywho, that is my show. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a positive or a negative response, feel free to leave it in my comment section. And if you'd like to have coffee with me, you can click wherever I put the annotation and it'll take you to my other channel. But otherwise, I hope you guys have had a fantastic week and a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you again next weekend. Okay? Bye-bye. Mwah.
Go.
What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?